You think Miss Universe is just about walking in high heels and wearing sparkly dresses, but one wrong move backstage can get a girl disqualified instantly. Most fans only see the glitz and the final crowning moment on TV, but the reality behind the curtain is way more intense. There are secret rules that control everything from who these women talk to how they sit in a chair when the cameras are off. I spent hours digging into the contracts and talking to insiders to find the rules that organizers try to keep quiet. If you want to know what it really takes to wear that crown, you need to hear about the rules they don't show you on television. For decades, the pageant had a very strict profile for who could even enter the building. You had to be between 18 and 28 years old, and you could never have been married or had a child. But starting very recently, those long-standing rules were completely tossed out the window to make the show feel more modern. Now, women who are married, divorced, or even mothers are allowed to compete for the title of the most beautiful woman in the universe. They even removed the upper age limit, meaning a 60-year-old grandmother could technically walk the stage next to a 20-year-old student. While the entry rules got relaxed, the rules during the actual competition week are stricter than a military boot camp. One of the most surprising secrets is the presence of the chaperones who follow the contestants everywhere they go. These chaperones are not just there to be nice or help carry luggage, they are there to monitor every single move a contestant makes. A contestant is almost never allowed to be alone in a public space, or even in her own hotel room if the door is unlocked. They are strictly forbidden from meeting with friends, family, or boyfriends during the entire 2 or 3 weeks of the competition. If a contestant is caught sneaking out to have dinner with her parents, she could be sent home on the next flight. This is because the organization wants to ensure that no one gets an unfair advantage or gets caught in a messy public situation. Even their phone usage is heavily monitored, and they often have specific times when they are allowed to post on social media. Every post has to be approved or follow a very specific set of brand guidelines to make sure the pageant looks perfect. You might think the judging only happens on the final night during the live broadcast, but that is a huge misconception. In reality, the judges and the organization staff are watching these women from the moment they step off the airplane at the host city. They have secret observers who report back on how the women treat the hotel staff, the bus drivers, and the makeup artists. If a contestant is rude to a waiter at breakfast, that information goes straight to the people in charge and can ruin her score. They are looking for a brand ambassador, not just a pretty face, so your personality has to be perfect 24 hours a day. This creates a massive amount of pressure because these women have to be in full hair and makeup starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. They often work 18-hour days doing rehearsals, interviews, and charity visits without ever showing a single sign of being tired. If a girl complains too much about her feet hurting or asks for too many breaks, she is seen as someone who cannot handle the job. The winner's contract is also a secret document that most fans would find absolutely shocking if they ever got to read it. Once a woman wins the crown, she basically gives up her life for a full year to live in a high-end apartment in New York City. She does not get to choose her own schedule, her own clothes, or even her own hair color without asking for permission first. The organization essentially owns her image and her time, and she has to be ready to fly across the world on a moment's notice. There is also a very specific rule about what happens if the winner cannot fulfill her duties for any reason at all. If she gains too much weight, gets sick, or gets into a legal trouble, the organization can take the crown away immediately. We saw this happen in 1996 when the winner faced public criticism from the owners about her physical appearance. The runner-up is always standing by, ready to take over the job, the apartment, and the salary if the winner slips up even once. This constant threat of being replaced keeps the winner on a very tight leash for her entire 365 days. Another rule that surprises people is the ban on political statements or controversial opinions during the official events. The contestants are told to remain neutral because the pageant wants to appeal to every country in the world without causing a fight. If a contestant uses her platform to talk about a sensitive political issue without permission, she can be heavily fined or silenced. It is a delicate balance of being a strong woman with a voice, but also being a corporate representative who follows orders. Even the way they walk and stand is governed by rules that have been passed down through pageant coaches for generations. They are taught to walk in a way that minimizes hip movement while still looking energetic and youthful on the camera. If their gown is even 1 inch too long or too short, it can result in a point deduction during the preliminary evening gown competition. The amount of tape used to keep those dresses in place is enough to fill a whole hardware store, which is another dirty little secret. Behind the scenes, the women are often literally taped into their outfits to make sure nothing slips during the high-energy dance numbers. It is a world of extreme discipline hidden behind a layer of glitter, hairspray, and very white smiles. Most people see a princess, but the truth is that these women are more like elite athletes competing in a high-stakes corporate game. The next time you watch the crowning moment, remember all the secret rules they had to follow just to stand on that stage. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden side of the pageant world, you really need to click the video on your screen right now to see what happens to the losers after the show ends.